late last night, I'm still doing a lot of work. I was working on some stuff for Fox Digital that is going to be up on Instagram soon. And I saw a tweet come across my phone. It was around 11 o'clock Eastern, somewhere around there. And it was from the mighty LeBron James. And here is what LeBron said. Thinking about maybe sitting down and breaking down some of my most memorable games and moments in my career. Maybe IG Live. Maybe IG Live it or just film it and hold on to it for another time. And I think that second part about maybe IG Live or film it, hold on to it, I think he wants to gauge the reaction and from fans. So here's my reaction. And I got some calls this morning. Some people think LeBron is tripping. One guy told me that he sees why people don't like LeBron because it's not for him to break down, his great games. And I get that. I don't want to see LeBron sitting there talking about, yeah, we were down 10, but I had to turn it on and come back and overcome, and I'm so great and this and that. I don't want to see him up there just giving himself accolades and praising himself. But I don't think that's what LeBron's going to do. When I look at this tweet, I actually see it as he's going to sit there and talk about some of his greatest challenges, because obviously those are some of his most memorable moments. The greatest moments are the ones where you overcame. So I can see LeBron talking about the series with Golden State in 2016. Not in a braggadocious way, not in a look how great I am, look at what I did, that sort of way, but just kind of in a, man, we down 3-1. I'm just, we're going back to Golden State, but I'm confident. I couldn't explain it, but I felt like even though they had won 3 of the first 4 games, even though they had beaten us at home, and we were going back to Golden State, I felt like we had them where we wanted them. And that actually is his sentiment from some of the uninterrupted videos they put out on that. And so just talk about that. Talk about, okay, it's 89 all, I believe was the score. And they went like 2, 3, 4 minutes without scoring. Talk about the chase down block. What are you thinking as you're sprinting down court to block Andre Iguodala? How can I get to him without fouling him? So I actually think it could be a very entertaining thing. Again, as long as he doesn't go into bragging about, and I don't see LeBron doing that, but talking about how great he is and how great he was and all of that stuff. Nobody really wants to hear him gloat. So as long as he does that, and maybe even, does he talk about the Dallas series where he struggled mightily? I mean, more than we've ever seen him in his career in 2011. Does he talk about what he was thinking, why he wasn't shooting over J.J. Barea? Why at times he was treating the ball like a hot potato? What was going on at that point and what he learned from it and how he used that the next season and the rest of his career to propel him to the heights that he reached. I mean, it could really be some insightful stuff. Again, stay away from just praising yourself. And I think LeBron will do that. I also think, when I first saw it, I said, well, it would be nice if he broke down some other games, just some great games in history, because LeBron is a student of history. I've heard him talk about watching Michael Jordan's great games on his laptop. When Jordan scored, 55 against the Knicks and other big games. So he could break down some of those and how he looked at them as both a fan and obviously a guy with a high basketball IQ. So I think that's something LeBron should consider doing as well. Rob, when you saw the tweet, what was your first thought?
LeBron James is trying to overshadow Michael Jordan's documentary. I just thought to myself, what a weird time to all of a sudden want to put out, especially the announcement just came from ESPN that they were moving it up, that they were going to move it up with so many people starved for watching sports, trying to capitalize on, America's attention. And that was the first thing I thought of. Why now? Why coming from LeBron? He's going to do it. He said maybe Instagram or something, and that's what I thought. And maybe that sounds the cynical.
To me like I was going to say that's the cynical.
No, but
hating his brother of all time. Take.
No, but that's what
I never
really
even thought about that.
I did. That was the first thing I thought. Why now? And it's just like it's typical LeBron. Like maybe this is for somebody else to take a look at and go, we want to take a look at LeBron's career, put some stuff together, do a documentary at some point about his career, which is fine. But like LeBron doing it, it's like when he was in the barbershop on the TV show talking about this is when I knew I was the GOAT and whatever. That's really for other people to say, and it comes off sounding funny.
Others have said it, and you didn't get mad at Muhammad Ali when he said he's the greatest. You try to justify it with your
Ali and LeBron is totally different.
Nobody ever sold boxing before. They thought Ali was crazy. No other fighters before him sold it like that.
That's where the sport is different compared to
the
other thing.
Boxing was never like that before Ali. Joe Louis never saw Rocky Marciano. They didn't sell fights like that. Sugar Ray Robinson.
They had
Ali was the first.
Okay, but it was in the realm of what he was talking about with fighting somebody else and saying I'm the best, I'm the prettiest. In LeBron's case, for him to sit there and say
about being the greatest.
No, but I'm talking about for LeBron to sit there and say this is when I became the GOAT was weird. It didn't feel right for anybody. He's a great player. That just wasn't for him to say. I thought it was a misstep by LeBron, and a lot of people did, especially when you aren't even the clear-cut GOAT. For you to even say, this is when I became the GOAT, was almost comical, because most people don't even look at him as the GOAT. So for him to say, this is where I
do.
Not all of them.
A lot of young cats.
Not all of them. That's all. And in this
he's
case,
definitely not the undisputed GOAT. My only problem with that, I just think a lot of people, Serena Williams, I believe, said it recently about tennis. And like I bring up Ali as the greatest example. I just don't think you can let one guy get away with saying he's the greatest and we praise it and we love it, but then when another person says it's out of pocket. It just doesn't.
It is out of pocket. But Michael Jordan is a guy who's won 6 championships, never lost, and also won all 6 MVPs. So yes, it does come off a little different.
Ali was saying it before he was even champion.
You could bring up Ali all you want, Chris. It felt different. I mean, I'm just telling you.
No, how's it? It's different because you like Ali.
No, that ain't it.
And you want to criticize LeBron.
No, that's not it.
Different.
That's your point of view. You don't know that.
Explain it.
I'm telling you.
Explain it.
I just told you.
They both said the same thing. I mean,
boxing
Ali
is different to me. Boxing is different to me. To me, that was always a shtick for Ali to get attention, to put his name out there. That wasn't LeBron doing a shtick. That's not a shtick. LeBron ain't doing it for a shtick.
What if he did? You said he's doing this to overcome Michael Jordan. Isn't that a shtick?
No, it's not. I'm talking about when I saw it originally, that was the first thing I thought of. I thought, how convenient. Michael Jordan has a documentary coming out, and now LeBron decides he wants to put out his best stuff. It's almost like I'm going to counter Michael Jordan to continue my relentless pursuit of trying to convince people that I'm better than him. So you put out your Michael Jordan documentary, and I'm going to show you my best stuff at the same time. That's what I'm just telling you, that's the way I felt. It has nothing to do with being anti-LeBron or jumping on LeBron. You asked me what my initial thought was.
That's your initial thought, but do you believe that? Because a lot of times a thought comes to our mind and we think, oh,
that's typical LeBron to me.
I don't see that, though, because Michael Jordan's documentary is going to be once a week for 5 consecutive Sundays. So you got a whole week in between there where there'll be, other stuff that people are posting. And he might do it after. He said, I may film it and hold it for later. So maybe he does it after the Jordan documentary, which will be called The Last Dance, or, I just don't see the correlation. They got uninterrupted. They got their deals. They have the shop on HBO. I'm sure they could actually turn it into a real legit documentary or something like that if they wanted to. Maybe not this quickly, obviously, but I just don't. That thought never even came to my mind. And LeBron's a fan of Jordan. I know he's always said he wants to become the best player of all time, but he is a big time fan of Jordan. So
that doesn't mean that he doesn't want to put his stuff out there.
No, I think he definitely wants to be the best player. But I don't see this. I just don't see the correlation with.
I do, considering that if he did it before this idea or thought that Michael Jordan was coming out or whatever, or even he could have held on to it, especially since he doesn't even know it's in the infancy stage. He could have had this thought. Okay, I'm gonna get my stuff together, and he even says, I don't know if I'm putting it out now. Maybe because of the backlash, or maybe I'll hold on to it. Like that could have waited. There was no reason that he had to drop it. It's not like I've been working on this for the last 3 years and I got my stuff together and I'm gonna put it out there. It's all infancy, and that's what made me think that he was pushed, thought of, or came out because of the Michael Jordan news that hit about ESPN moving it up. That's all.
Or what about also that, it's a very down time in sports, unlike one we've ever seen, and people are looking for content, and I'm going to put something out there because, there are a lot of fans of mine out there. And I mean, I think it makes sense that at this time you might come out and do something like this. People are starving for content, and you can reach the people, through social media. So it just makes sense to me. The one thing I was saying about it, Rob, though, is that I don't think nobody wants to hear him just gloat and praise himself. I think it can be done in a classy way where you talk about, for instance, the chase down block on Andre Iguodala. Here's what I'm thinking. Am I going to be able to get to him without fouling him? Just kind of describe your thoughts. Why we went to Kyrie late in the game for the big shot. What I'm thinking. Am I a second option? Just giving us some in-depth insight into what's going on in his mind, what he's seeing on the floor in these different moments. Did he think, before Ray Allen hit that shot in Miami, what was he thinking as he saw the ropes being, put out by security around the court and fans storming out of the arena? What was going through his mind, and then in overtime. So I think it could be done in a way that's interesting, in a way that's classy, in a way that's not braggadocious. But there's a fine line, because if you're sitting there praising yourself, which I don't see LeBron doing, then it's not going to come off well.
Well, I think there's a chance that all the insight you're talking about you might not have. Have you ever watched his barbershop show, which is unique in itself, that everybody agrees with LeBron on the barbershop show? I own a barbershop for 17 years, and I don't remember conversations where everybody agrees with the main guy or the guy who's leading the way. That's all I'm going to say. That barbershop show is so authentic. God, I can't speak this morning.
It's interesting because you have some great personalities on there, and great, obviously, Pat Mahomes and some of the great athletes and entertainers on there. But yeah, they agree too much. There needs to be, and I think it's not like you want to say there needs to be some pushback.
But that's not a barbershop conversation. Right.
Yeah, just naturally there would be some.
You've been in barbershops, Chris. You could come in with a gray sweatshirt on and people will debate that ain't gray. You know what I mean?
You can go in the hood and criticize Donald Trump, and you will get somebody who says, I actually like Trump.
No doubt about it.
You will get some type of argument. So, yeah, no, I agree with you on that. But so are you saying you think this is just going to be – because I tell you, right, if it's just LeBron praising himself, I don't see that happening, because that he's smarter than that. That's just not going to be a good look. Well, if that's what it becomes.
Well, we'll have to see. I'm not so sure. But, it'll be interesting just to see how people how people receive it, what they're thinking about. The minions, the LeBron minions, of course, will love it. But I just thought that it was interesting of all days or all times to come out with that. It just was on the heels of the ESPN announcement. That's all. It just seemed
I
rather
didn't see
strange.
that at all. I didn't think about that at all.